You're listening to the Smith House Adventure Show. So, going back to the infantry, what was your workup training like, and what tasks did you have within the platoon while you were on deployment?
Yeah, so workup training for us began in the spring of 2006. Basically, we got selected from 39 Brigade. There was about a full platoon, 30-ish of us, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, who went from 39 Brigade in BC to 3rd Battalion, Charlie Company in Edmonton. And basically, workup training was, I'd say, it felt like almost every month we had at least one exercise that was 2 weeks or 3 weeks long type thing. I'm not sure the exact number of exercises. There was a bunch that we did where we did stuff all over Canada, all the way from Hinton, where we did a patrolling exercise, to Gagetown, where we were doing nighttime live company attacks with tanks and lavs in support and things like that, which was super awesome, super cool. You're storming this hill with a full company worth of dudes with tanks being your lead suppressing fire. So your section runs in behind the tank and you follow it up the hill. As you come up to buildings, the tank would be shooting the building with its coaxial machine gun or its main cannon, and then you would run in and clear the room, all with live ammunition, night vision goggles, lasers on your rifle. Like, it was super cool. It was tons of fun. So for me, I was in 7th Platoon, Charlie Company, and I was in 2 section, and I was in the Charlie fire team. So basically, I was just a rifleman. I did the TCCC course while on workup, so I was the lead first aider for my section. So if somebody was to get injured, I would be the first primary person to kind of get called to attend to them and do whatever critical interventions needed to happen. Okay. And then, when we deployed to Afghanistan, again, I was in my section, and again, I stayed in Charlie team for pretty much the tour. There was sometimes, because the vehicles that we had for the tour was the RG-31, we'd initially planned on going over in the G-Wagon, but while we were on workup training, it came down that G-Wagons weren't allowed outside the wire anymore because there was a couple total vehicle kills on previous tours. Sorry, one sec. And so basically at the last second, like literally we were on our checkout exercise in Wainwright, where they told us like, you guys might not be going to Afghanistan because you're not allowed outside the wire with G-Wagons and you're not trained on the lavs. So we don't have any vehicles for you. So everyone was kind of freaking out about that. But then they managed to work out that, okay, there's this new vehicle, the RG-31. It's designed to survive IED strikes. We can get you trained on that and we'll send you over in that. And so because of the size of the vehicle, I was kind of, for a lot of the tour, I was separated. Once we were mounted, I was in the headquarters vehicle, and then I would just relink up with my section once we dismounted. But yeah, that's kind of how the tour went and my position in it.
Okay. Do you feel you were prepared for what you were going to face once you got in country and started going on patrols? Or can training get close, but the real world is just a very different beast once you start?
We felt pretty prepared going over. Like, we did a lot of training. We did like I said, all those exercises we felt prepared us quite well. A lot of the higher commanders that were watching us doing our live fire attacks and things like that were saying that we were one of the most well-prepared companies that they'd seen before deploying. And so going over, we were pretty confident. We thought that we would be getting into a lot more of kind of gun battle type situations, kind of like Op Medusa, which was, I believe, the tour or the 2 tours ahead of us, like the end of 2 ahead and the beginning of 1 ahead of us. And that kind of just turned out not being the case for our company. And specifically, my platoon at the start of our tour, we were detached from Charlie Company to India Company. And so we were in a different part of the Panjwai, the Arghandab Valley area than where the rest of Charlie Company was for about the first month or 2, I think it was. And during that time, there really wasn't a whole lot going on. It was still kind of the tail end of winter. And then the summer season is when the fighting typically would kick off in Afghanistan at the time. But the Taliban, because they lost so many guys during Medusa and things like that, they were still kind of reconstituting their forces and figuring out how they would basically deal with us or what tactics they would use against us, which turned out to be IEDs. So we were kind of right at that start where the IED became a very common tactic for them. And it wasn't like we trained for it. We trained for IEDs and counter IED tactics and stuff. We weren't expecting it to be as prevalent as it ended up being, and that is what ended up causing the casualties that happened in our company during that tour. However, Hotel in India company, they ended up getting into some gun battles. I'm not sure the exact details of them, but I think my platoon was only ever involved in one. We called it a TIC, a troops in contact, and it only lasted all of 5 or 10 seconds from what I'm told. I wasn't actually present for that one. I was in a vehicle in a leaguer for that operation. We just kind of separated out a bit where we kept some people in vehicles and some were dismounted. And then that just happened really quickly. And I wasn't even present for it. So I was never personally even involved in any real firefights. I mean, we'd be on patrol and we'd have a little pot shot thrown our way and it'd be like twang. And we're like, oh, sir, I think we just got shot at from the west. Okay, keep an eye on it. Let's keep patrolling. And, we never really got into a situation where we're taking effective fire and we had to dive for cover or return fire even really. Not that I can remember at least. So.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Please like, subscribe, and comment to help grow the show. And remember, get back up.